It's Monday and I look like crap. It's Monday again, and you know what that means? Me! And like I said earlier, I look like crap. I didn't even comb my hair. I just got out of bed, and yeah. Justin, Paul, and Abe, and Elise, and I, and some of Elise's straighty friends, went out to Faces last night and had fun, and this is what I look like afterwards. Anyways, so Abe's question for this week is, if you could sleep with any male celebrity, who would it be with? Let me think about that. Okay, so I decided on Adrien Grenier. That doesn't sound familiar. He was from The Devil Wears Prada. He was the boyfriend, and he's also from Entourage. He has blue eyes and curly hair. Sometimes it's short hair, and sometimes he has a beard.
I like your beard.
And he's just really pretty. Yeah. Adrien Grenier. Alright, time for the challenge. So this week our challenge was to tell a story using pictures, and I'm actually going to tell you one of my favorite stories that my grandma used to tell me when I was a kid whenever I'd stay at her house. It's called Princess Hershe Squirts and Her Happy Ending. I hope you enjoy it. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a boy by the name of Stanley. Stanley was a very average person. Average height, average hair, average clothes, average everything. Every night when Stanley slept, he dreamed of his Prince Charming, who would sweep him off his feet and make him feel not so average anymore. But when Stanley woke up, he was still his plain old average self. One day, while getting dressed for work, Stanley said to himself, "I'm not going to wait for my Prince Charming anymore." He was just going to live his average life and be happy. Earlier that day, ominous-looking clouds poured down on the city, leaving a huge puddle at the entrance of Stanley's apartment. Stanley attempted to leap over the puddle, and when he landed, he broke the 6-inch heel on his favorite pair of shoes, and he fell right into the puddle, hitting his head on one of the steps. When Stanley came to, he picked himself up, looked at his watch, and realized he was going to be late for work. Stanley ran as fast as he could and made it just as his name was being called onto the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you your hostess with the moistest, your queen of the night, Madam Hershe Squirts." Stanley hopped on the stage, transforming into Madam Hershe Squirts instantly.
"Look at me, covered in water. You boys make me wet. And I broke the heel of my favorite pair of shoes. I had a very rough night, but this song will brighten the mood."
As he sang along to "It's Raining Men," he made eye contact with the man of his dreams. He was tall, dark, handsome, and rich by the look of his Prada suit. He stood in the back of the room as if he didn't want to be seen, but Stanley definitely saw him. But with a blink of an eye, he was gone, just like in his dreams. At the end of the night, Stanley walked out of the club, and he felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned, gazing into the eyes of his Prince Charming. "You were amazing up there," the man said. "Do you need a ride home? Look like it's gonna rain again." Stanley said yes right as a long, black limo pulled up. The driver came out of the limo to open the door for the two of them. He said, "Good evening, Prince Mauricio. I hope you had a lovely night." Did he say prince? Stanley thought to himself. Maybe dreams do come true. That night, the prince took Stanley out to dinner. Then they went skinny dipping at the beach. As they laid on the sand, staring into the night sky, the prince turned to look Stanley in the eye and whispered, "Will you marry me?" "Yes, yes, yes," Stanley said. It was the perfect night, and Stanley definitely didn't feel average at all, and he was going to be a princess. They drove around and found a late-night chapel. They got married and went back to the prince's beautiful apartment overlooking the city to consummate their marriage. Stanley had the night of his life, and all his dreams finally came true. As Stanley woke up the next morning with a smile on his face, he noticed that he was soaking wet. "I must have had an amazing time last night." Stanley rubbed his eyes, looked around, and realized he was sitting in the puddle in front of his apartment with a huge lump on his head. It was all a dream. He never made it to work, he never met the prince, they never had an amazing night, never got married, and worst of all, they never consummated their marriage. As Stanley attempted to get up, he broke his other heel and fell into the puddle, and sat there crying. Then he heard a voice over him. "Why are you crying, little blonde boy in drag?" Stanley recognized the voice, but he had to be dreaming. He looked up to see it was the man of his dreams, but he was real this time. The man helped Stanley up, and taking advantage of the moment, he asked the man to carry him back up to his apartment, and he gladly did. But when they got to the apartment, Stanley slammed the door shut. He leaped onto the man and kissed him, but the man pushed him off, called the cops, and Stanley was arrested and sent to jail for sexual harassment and attempted entrapment. But while in jail, Stanley met Butch, and they lived happily ever after. The end. So yeah, that was my favorite fairy tale when I was a kid, told by my grandmother. Or maybe not. Anyways, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to watch the other guys' videos, and check out my videos on my personal channel. Right? Alright, well, Frankie's got to go to rehearsals. Bye!
I'm all looking at myself.